Hello, and welcome back. I am Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more of our tutorial series with FilthyRobot.
Yep,
Still doing
absolutely.
well, man? Good? Good. Okay. I just noticed something real quick. We have apparently played long enough that we can change our national focus. Remember a long time ago
Nope.
we focused admin? Okay. F1. F1, go to the court tab. You'll
All right.
remember when we get there. Remember how we clicked a button to say we wanted more of this kind and less of the other
I
kinds?
don't recall doing that, but I'm sure we did. Where is this button?
Okay, so we're looking to the right
Yep.
of the portraits for the different advisors. There was a button on the top one for administrative, diplomatic, and
Oh, I
military.
see. Currently
We
set
focused
to. Okay.
admin.
We probably want to switch over to Diplo because of our idea group. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. We're falling behind on diplomatic technology. We have fewer monarch points in that category, and we have an extra expense right now by trying to do a diplomatic idea group. So now would be a pretty good idea.
Was there
Now's
a
a good time
pop-up
to
that told
focus
us
on
that?
Diplo. That it came up? That
Yeah.
it came
No.
became
Okay.
available? No.
All right.
Sadly, no. So now we're going to get nice monarch point generation in that
Okay.
category.
Although I
Very
must
good.
say that
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not. I feel like we may have made a mistake. I mean, we didn't have the military power to do it, but like I feel like we are being very militaristic this game. So, are we sure we wanted to do diplomatic here? I mean, I know we have the idea group for that. I mean, I guess how often can we switch this? How many years?
In this case, with our current government rank, we can switch every 20 years, I think it is. 25, I'm not sure. You can hover
1496.
over
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it'll tell
okay.
you when you
Yeah,
can
20
change
years.
the
Okay.
20 years. But here's the thing. If we focus military, yeah, we're going to get more military points. But if you go to the technology tab, you can see that we're ahead of time on military tech right now.
Okay.
So having more doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get even more and more. Like, the penalty will just get bigger because you're going to get more and more ahead of
Gotcha.
time. So there is value. Like, if you want to make up for your deficits and try to play more
Oh, you do.
average, you know?
Because I feel like if
If
you
you
get
have...
way ahead in military, like, and you're way ahead of your time, aren't your armies just way better than everybody else's army in that era?
Yeah, sure. But then because you focused on admin, or sorry, you focused on military, now you have fewer admin points and you
Yeah.
won't be able to you can't use your army to conquer land
Yep,
because
yep.
you have no points to
Okay.
core it. That kind of thing.
Trade.
So, okay, so let's talk about trade. Yeah. So we've just finally cored the new English holdings, and for the last year or so, we've been privateering in the English channel because we don't actually have the ability to collect trade in that node at a good price. So, long time ago, we talked about trade and we kind of glossed over it and didn't spend
Right.
too much time on it. Let's go back to the trade map mode and talk about trade a little bit more now.
Okay. Trade map mode open.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're on the trade map mode. We can you see that little box with like a thing next to it above the square
Yes.
for the North Sea. That is your indicator that this is your main trading port. Main trading port is where you collect your trade. You can collect in other places, but there will be a trade penalty. That trade penalty is 50%. So now that we have good trade power in England, or we will if we were actually collecting from trade there because we've got London, we would experience a 50% penalty to our trade power if we try to collect there. And also, by doing that, we lose out on all of the bonus trade power we get from having merchants transferring trade, which, again, I don't want to get too complicated because it's just so easy to get bogged down by. But basically, what our goal right now is to move our trade capital from the North Sea into the English Channel. There's more money in that
How
node.
are you seeing there's more money in that node?
It's an end.
Just the 11.8 as opposed to 2.4? Or is that something else? That's the we collect.
Easier number will be to this. Go to your press F1 and then go to the trade tab,
Yeah.
shortcut key 5, and then sort by value. There's a tables there at the bottom. Just sort that by value. This is going to show all trade nodes that are within range of us, and you can see that the English
fourth.
Channel is like fourth. It's got 12.87, and North Sea is 4.7, almost at the very bottom. So English Channel is an end node. You'll notice that none of the arrows that go into the North Sea go out. That means that once trade gets there, it's stuck there. It can never leave. There are only 3 nodes in the game that are end nodes. There's the English Channel, there's the Genoa node, which is south of here, south of France, that big area down there, and then there's Venice, which is on the other side of Italy. So these are the 3 end nodes in the game. So this is a really, really good node for us to move into because that means that anytime we can get money to come here, it can never leave again. No one can take it from us.
Okay.
So we want to move into the English Channel. There's a couple ways
So
we can
tell
do
me
that.
first
Number
off,
one,
why don't we want to move to Genoa?
Because we have no trade power there.
I can see that. Where do I see our trade power in a node?
If you click on the node, Or actually, if you were on that same screen you were on a second ago, the trade tab, it'll list your trade power.
Sort
you could
by
sort
total
by
trade
our
power,
trade
sort by our trade power, 0. Okay. For Genoa, 4.5 for Lubeck, 22.5 for England. English channel.
Yep. Now here's the thing, though. The English channel is a little bit misleading because right now we are transferring trade power upstream because it's downstream from the node we collect in, and we're not collecting trade in that node. So the number's getting cut in by a fifth, or down by 5, whatever. So we're going to have a lot of trade power in the English channel if we move there. So English channel has more money. It's an end node, which we like. And we were going to do that capital movement trick so that we could get 0% autonomy in London right away. So there's 2 different ways, well, more than 2, but there's a couple different ways you can move your trade around. Number 1, we could set all of our ships to protect trade in the English node. We could send a merchant there to collect from trade. If we collect from trade in a node that's not our capital node, we experience a 50% penalty to our trade power.
How do we, okay, bad. She said this was earlier too, because North Sea was our capital node. But how do I know it's a capital node? It's
got that little box above the trade thing.
Yeah. Okay. Have we talked about how to move that around yet?
Okay. That's what we're talking about right now. Yeah. So by default, your capital node is the node within which your actual capital of your country lives. Lothian is the capital of Scotland. Lothian is in the North Sea node. So by default, our default port, our trade port is the North Sea node.
I can see that by mousing over the trade window. That's the only way I can see that otherwise, right? So like when I'm in this trading interface, I can mouse over and it says, oh, Irishshire belongs to the North Sea trade node. Okay. All right.
Yep. So there's 2 things we could do. Number 1, we could just manually change our main trade port. And to do that, you would click on any province that exists in that trade node. So like I'm looking at Lincolnshire, for example. And now at the very top of the province dialog, there's 2 buttons. There's one that says move your capital, and there's one that says move your trading your trading port. You notice that moving your capital costs admin points. Moving your trade port costs Diplo points. If you move your main trading port, then the penalties from collecting in that node are gone. But now there will be penalties in the previous port because it's no longer your main trading port. Okay? If you move your capital, it will also move your main trading port automatically because, again, your main trading port is wherever your capital is. However, if you move your main trading port and then later on move your capital, that will not automatically move your main trading port because you manually moved it before.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So in this case, we don't want to move the main trading port because of a couple reasons. Number 1, we're doing a diplomatic idea group. We don't want to spend Diplo points. Number 2, we want the 0% autonomy in London. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to move our capital to London right now by clicking on the province of London and then clicking the move your capital province button. 200 admin points. Go ahead and do it. All right. So now if you open up the main trading window, you'll notice that the little boxes thing moved now to the English channel. Okay. And we're going to need to give this some time to update because trade doesn't update dynamically. But we are going to have much more trade power on this node.
So we can see.
Let's go ahead.
Trade. So, all right. This is the trade value in the node is 11.8, and we're getting 5%. Okay.
It's not showing us anything right now. It's not showing anything right now. It's showing what happened last month.
Yep. I'm ready to see some progression though.
So here we'll waste a little bit of money. I'm going to tell the ships to just go hide for now, so they're not doing anything. But mark this number down. Right now, last month, we made 17.08 ducats.
And you're seeing this off of the the economy tab or the trade tab?
The economy tab. We made 17.08 altogether. The only thing that's going to probably really change here, well, we did, by the way, you'll notice next month our autonomy in London will be 0% because your capital can't be anything other than 0%. But so 17 ducats is the mark. We want to see in a month where we end up at. And again, London's autonomy, it still shows 98.3, but your autonomy will never, it says, if you hover over it right now, capital province cannot have an autonomy higher than 0%. So now you'll see that we have 0% autonomy in London, which is awesome.
Okay.
All right. Our income is now 17.26 ducats. So it only went up by a tiny bit, but we also stopped privateering. Let's go ahead and now take our ships, and instead of privateering the English Channel, we now want to start protecting trade in the English Channel. So instead of piracy, now we're just trying to increase the actual total trade power we have in this node.
So select mission, and then it's a mission trade, and then it's English Channel. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Let's wait one more month and see how that affects things.
We're not worried about these. Oh, we have maintenance on our military. Okay. Kildari separatists are getting up
Yeah,
there
we're
too.
still hoping.
Why are they so pissed?
Okay. Because of the war exhaustion. War exhaustion was directly raising unrest.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
21.
Notice their income now. We just made 4 more ducats a month by spending 200 admin and moving our capital. And we're not done yet. There's another step. So we had previously been having the 3 merchants that we own do stuff that we now need to reassess to make sure
let's do this
sense.
again. I haven't done this in a while.
Okay, so back to the trade map mode.
Okay.
We want our merchants to steer money toward where we collect, which is the English channel. So let's see. You see there's on each of these little boxes, there's like in the bottom right corner of the box, it'll show like a little indicator if there's a merchant there. We've got one.
See that right now. So what is, I do actually now see it. We have a guy in, I got it. It's like a little portrait. Okay.
Yep. You can also see it if you look in the outliner. You can see merchants, Bordeaux, Champagne, and Rhineland. You can click on those. It'll zoom to that location.
I see rebel factions, navies, armies. Oh, merchants. Yep. We've been looking at this so much. I've just been ignoring it. Okay.
Yep. So right now, one of our merchants is steering from Bordeaux into Champagne. Now that, to me, is a not very important thing to do. And the reason for that is that there's only one direction that the trade can go from this node. You notice there's only one arrow going out. So any trade power in this node is going to automatically steer away. It's just going to steer in that one direction. It's the only possible output. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to find, so I'm near the board. I'm in the Bordeaux trade route, and I can see arrows coming in. I see one arrow going out, and it's going towards France-ish, that area. That's the one you're talking about? And because it has 3 going in and 1 going out. Yeah, okay.
Yep. So since there's only one going out, that means that any trade power we have in this node is automatically going to try to pull the trade out of that node. The merchant's job is to steer it in one direction or another. Since there's only one direction it can go, it can't steer, so there's really no point in having this merchant here anymore. So that's a merchant that we can move.
I see, so I'm looking at the, I follow you on that. I want to now see if I can extrapolate that knowledge into something useful.
Okay, here's your test. Go look at the North Sea then.
North Sea has 2 outgoing, one of which goes off to the Lubeck node and one which goes to us. So by putting a merchant in there, we could tell it to direct the bulk or some larger percentage of that trade that's hypothetically being split between the 2 to just go to us instead, you're saying?
Yes. Notice how it says 98.0 and then in parentheses 30%. That means we have 30% control of this node, but because we have no merchant here, we are applying our trade power equally. It's going in every direction. And since there's more than one direction, that means that half of it's going in one way, half of it's going the other way, and it's just going to go wherever the other people are steering.
So just out of curiosity then, are we only collecting from, I mean, you said minus 50% on all the other ones. Are we collecting money from any other trade node besides this main one right now? Okay,
not right now.
How do I know that?
If you go to the trade tab or the economy tab, either way, you can hover over your trade income and it'll tell you from where the trade income's coming.
We have okay, English channel. Okay. So then in that case, if this is the only place we're collecting from, and I don't know how to collect from multiple places yet, so this may just be wrong, but it feels like there's only a couple places. There's the one in Lubeck comes to the English channel. The one in the North Sea comes to the English channel. And then there's 2 ones that come from apparently spawning in the New World over there that we probably can't influence right now. Is there anything else coming to this one? Yes, from inland. I can't tell where that arrow is coming from though. It looks like it may actually be coming from the one we were in, actually, in Bordeaux. Does that arrow go to us? No, it doesn't. It goes to Champagne, and then Champagne goes to us. Okay.
Yes, and you'll notice that we have merchants right now. We have a merchant in Champagne who's steering north toward the North Sea, which is right, instead of letting it try to go south.
How do I see where he's he's directing it to?
Well, those little flags. There's you see those 3 flags beneath the 4.36.
Is that 4.36 relevant? I was looking at the bigger box.
The 4.36 is the amount of actual money going north. Okay, so we can see 4.36 ducats is going north, 4.12 ducats is going south, and you can see those little flags will indicate the nations that are trying to pull it in that direction. So Genoa, Aragon, and Siena are trying to make the money go south. The flags beneath the actual node itself, you've got Aragon, Scotland, Genoa, Burgundy, France. We wield trade power in these nodes. We're trying to pull north. England's trying to pull north. Brabant's trying to pull north.
Would it make sense then to put our merchants currently in one in Champagne, one in then Lubeck, and one in the North Sea, and just have all of them directing flow to the English Channel?
I like the merchant in Champagne for sure, because we don't want it to go to Genoa. I definitely like having one in the North Sea because we don't want it to go to Lubeck. Lubeck, you'll notice though, only has one output, so it's automatically any
all of
trade
it
power
goes
we get in
to
the
us,
node's
so
going
we
to go
don't
toward
have
us
to worry
anyway.
about that.
Yes, we want to focus on steering. So in this case, I like the two merchants that are inland. I like the one that's in Champagne, and I like the one that's in Rhineland.
Why do we like the one that's in Rhineland? What's it doing for us? It's directing money. We're directing it. Okay, where's our flag? Our flag is on the left part. So our it has two outputs here, it looks like, because there's just the two flags relative to two other boxes around there. So that probably means it only has two outputs. And one of them is directing it to Champagne, and then it goes to Champagne. So what is this? So when it directs 3.49 from the Rhineland to Champagne, how much of that then, how much does that add to the stuff going to us? So I don't understand what this 4.36 represents. So the 3.49 from Rhineland and then the 4.36 from Champagne, this is money being directed to our trade hub, but what does that actually equate to? Like, yeah.
Okay. So do you see the number in the actual English channel? It says 125,
Yes.
27%. The 27% is the amount of trade power we have in that node. So if we're collecting from trade in the English channel, we're getting 27% of the total amount of money in this node.
And is 125 the total amount of money?
So 125 is the total trade power.
Okay, so we have 27% of the trade power. What's the actual total amount of money? It says trade value in node is 13.31, but that's probably us. No, we collect 5.5. That's total.
Nope.
Okay, and is that the sum of just the numbers going into it? The 4.36, the 3.49, the 1.3, and the 0.92 plus whatever the numbers are coming from the west that we don't know about?
That and all of the provinces that exist inside the node that are generating trade value as well.
So that 4.36 going north is quite good actually from Champagne. And how much of that 4.36 is base versus how much is coming from our guy?
Well, for example, if we were to do this and steer in the opposite direction by clicking on that checkbox, did that update for you dynamically?
4.36.
Well, the number shouldn't have updated, but did the checkbox change? Okay. So if you wanted to waste a couple ducats to experience it, we could just accidentally steer in the wrong direction and you'll see.
Too. So, but we're going to do the pop-up. Just do it after. Well, I probably should do it soon, shouldn't we? Okay, hold on. All right, what does it do?
Yeah, go ahead.
Worship of the Virgin Mary. We can gain Catholicism, gain 1% reform desire, we gain 2 palpable influence, or palpable state's opinion of Scotland changed by -20. It's not very cool. I have no idea.
You can decide. Whatever you want.
I have no idea.
Whatever you want. It's pickle.
Well, I thought we were going to try to get delicious, nutritious stuff from the papal state. No.
Okay, do you see the updated numbers now?
2.5 up and 6 down. And I don't remember what it was before, 4 point something, because I was paying attention to this fucking pop-up. 4.6 north, was it before?
Yeah, somewhere around that, like cool. 4.36. So steering, we just, that costs us money to steer in the wrong direction.
So I want to take the guy out of Champagne. How do I...
No.
Yeah, sorry, Bordeaux. I'm mousing over Bordeaux, saying Champagne. Sorry, yes. How do I get rid of him?
Click on the North Sea.
Okay.
Now there's 2 buttons while you have that node open. Collect from trade and transfer trade power. Click transfer trade power.
Then it tells me which ones I can use for that. So grab the guy in Bordeaux. Okay.
Yep.
And then...
Okay, in 12 days he will arrive. Let's wait 12 days. And again, we got to wait 1 more month before the trade numbers all update. But now we're steering in the right direction. Now here's the numbers you want to look at. So right now there's 3.7 ducats going towards Lubeck, 0.92 going towards the English Channel. Now that we have a merchant there, it's going to steer a whole lot more. We were making, a long time ago, we were making 17 ducats. Then we were making 21. Let's see what we make now that we've done all these changes.
Doesn't tell me that in the stupid actual English trade channel node. It does. Trade value node, we collect 7.56. Okay.
Yep. We're making 23.18.
Oh, why 20? I thought it just said we collect 7.56. Why are we making 23?
23 total is our. I'm talking about our country's income. It's 23.
We're
okay.
making 17, I was just looking at the node specifically. Got it.
So if you recall, toward the end of that war with the English, we were comparing like how bad our loan situation was, and I mentioned we were making like 12 ducats a month. They were making 20. Now we're making 23. We're already making more than the English
Excellent.
were. So we're way strong. Our income, our financial situation is twice as good as it used to be,
Okay.
which is really good. And we still have tons of room. We have room for more ships. We have to pay off our loans, which will help out our financial situation. We need to get rid of our mercs, which are god awful expensive. But our country's we're looking pretty
What's
solid.
the difference between collect from trade and so we're not collecting from trade, we're steering trade.
Yes.
So we could have another merchant in the English Channel and he would collect from trade?
Yes. If you were to collect from trade, click on the English Channel node. Now you can see a list of like a column, like a table with all the data, right? You see at the top, we are listed. We've got 7.56 is the number. While hovering over the 7.56, it says collects 5.4 ducats from this trade node. Out of this, managed to create an income of 7.56. And the reason why it's that is because we get plus 5% from technology, burgers, national trade policy, etc. If we collect from trade with a merchant, we get an extra 10% of the base, in which case 5.4 ducats, 10% of that. So 0.54 ducats a month. If we do that, though, what we lose, now hover over on the far right of the column.
Okay.
Second column, that is. We've got 59.1% trade power multiplier. Notice that we have transfer from North Sea, transfer from Rhineland, transfer from Champagne. If you have any merchants collecting from trade at all, you lose your transfer trade bonuses to your provincial trade power, your trade power modifier.
So it might be worth it if we had no other. I don't know. Are there other uses for merchants? So if we had a fourth merchant, we could plant him in there. He would give us, you said, 10% of the base. 10% of the base is, well, is this 30% of the base? The 3 transfers? Is that of the base?
Yeah. We're getting. You can only have one merchant collecting. We're getting a bonus of 30% to our trade power by having 3 merchants steering trade.
Yeah, I understand. But 30% of what?
The trade power we have is the sum of 42 plus 55.9. We've got our power from ships. We've got our provincial trade power, 55.9. Those two get added together and then multiplied by 1.591%. Or 1.591 because we have plus 59% trade power. Which gives us a total of 164.
Okay, we just got... I think I asked one question too far. Okay.
Yeah. Long story short, 9 times out of 10, don't collect from trade.
Okay.
Steer trade. Steering trade gives you more trade power with no penalties whatsoever. And if you can steer trade towards your capital node, you will get more overall income almost always. Sometimes not, but 9 times out of 10. Which is why we're steering and not trying to collect.
Okay.
So our goal from here is to continue to conquer provinces in the English Channel. Anyone who owns land in the English Channel that has high provincial trade power, we want to take that land from them. We also want to build more ships so we can steer trade better into the English Channel. And the more and more we do that, the more money we're going to make. And it's going to get pretty ridiculous. You can see right now, already trade is almost doubling our production income. Like trade is starting to become a pretty big part of our financial situation. And we're making 5.16 ducats a month while we have mercs. So we're going to be able to pay off our loans pretty darn fast.
All right, I'm going to deal with this pop-up. Yeah, that was kind of intense, but I think I got the gist of it. I don't think I understand all the specifics of it in the sense of those numbers. I don't want to figure out those numbers right now. It's just beyond what I have any interest in doing at this particular moment. But the trade steering did make sense, and that actually was cleared up, and that's pretty helpful. So at the very least, I could figure out, if I have a trading node available to my country, whichever country that is, if I play in the future, I could figure out which is my main one and which ones go to that, and then I could do stuff with that, which is what I wanted. So that was helpful. All right, so let's do this pop-up. I was just looking. We have 86. Their opinion of the papal opinion of Scotland is 86 right now. We could lose 30 or lose 20, which doesn't seem that big a deal, or we could gain 2 papal influence and 1% reform desire. Papal influence is what we use to actually get favors. I was just looking at that again. We're at 31.73, and that represents about, it does say, we gain 1.43 a year. So that's like a year and a bit worth of papal influence, maybe a year and a half or so, right? So that's not bad, but what does Catholicism reform desire do, and where is it?
And that we've talked about briefly. When reform desire gets to 100% is when the Reformation will begin, and we start to see some variations in the types of Christianity. We're going to see, instead of just Catholic, we're going to
Okay.
have Protestant, and then
Where
eventually
do I
we're going
see
to have
that number?
Reformed, and that's going to under the religion tab.
So there is.
F1
Okay.
0.
And it's currently at 44. I don't care if I bring that to 45.
44.5.
It just says 44 for me on Reformed
Wasn't
Design.
it? Wasn't the number going to go up
No,
by
it goes up by
0.5%?
1%.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
well, go ahead and do it. Just take the papal influence. Why not? Let's have the Reformation begin. That'll be fun. Okay, so what we want to do then at this point is just a quick thing here. We got to take a break in a moment, but I'm looking at Essex, and I'm thinking that it might not be a bad idea to give that to the clergy.
Okay. I haven't looked at that stuff at all, but if they're not too ridiculous on anything. Nobility influence, 80 is the danger number, right? Okay. Never mind. All right.
Yeah. The clergy can't go any higher on influence because they've already got maxed out influence from controlled provinces. Giving it to them gives us the 0% autonomy on taxes, which is great, and it will lower unrest in the province by 2.
Is 40%
So those things are all
the
good.
max then that they can have from controlled province?
Yep. When you if you go to the estates tab and you hover over the
that's what I'm
influence
doing
of the
right
clergy, it'll say hover over the 28,
Okay.
the actual percentage of
Yeah.
controlled territory. The amount of land increases their influence by 40%, 1.5% influence per 1% of your total state development,
Okay.
capped at 40%. So since they're already getting 40%, giving them more land is not going to make them any stronger. So we just get money and we get
Seems good.
reduced unrest in that province for now. Eventually we want to revoke some stuff from them, but they're doing a great
Sure.
job for us so far. So we'll give that to the clergy. And then we've got to decide soon, do we want to try to make the nobles happy again? Can we give them 10%, 15% of our
Decision for
territory? Or is
another
that too
time, I
much?
think.
Yeah,
'Cause that
probably.
was a good explanation. It actually was fairly concise and fairly useful. So it was good, man. It was good.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take a break here then, and we'll be back same time,
guys
same
soon.
place tomorrow.